Have you ever met someone who is endlessly kind to everyone around them, who listens to everyone's problems, who shows up for every friend in crisis, who never runs out of patience for other people, but when it comes to themselves, they are the cruelest critic they know? That person who tells their friends, "You are enough, you are doing great," but lies awake at night thinking, "What is wrong with me? Why does nobody really love me?" If you have seen this pattern in someone, or maybe even recognized it in yourself, then this video is for you. Hi guys, I'm Tip Tio, and welcome back to Tip Tio Psychology, where we break down the human mind one hidden pattern at a time. And today we are diving into a deeply emotional topic, the psychology of people who hate themselves, but are kind to everyone else. Stick with me until the end, because by the time this video is over, you will understand exactly where this pattern comes from and how to actually break free from it. Let's start by understanding what this pattern really looks like. These people are often the best friends anyone could ask for. They remember your birthday. They listen to your problems for hours without complaining. They show up when you're falling apart. But when that same person looks in the mirror, something shifts. The same person who tells others mistakes make us human will spend hours tearing themselves apart over a tiny slip-up. In psychology, this is sometimes called compassion asymmetry, meaning compassion only flows in one direction, outward, never inward. Let's look at this through an example. Imagine a guy named Alex. Alex is the person in class who shares his notes with everyone, who motivates his friends before every exam, and who is the first to check in when someone seems down. But when Alex himself gets an average grade on a test, the voice in his head says, "You're worthless. You'll never amount to anything." When his friend gets the exact same grade, Alex hugs him and says, "It's okay, man. You'll do better next time." That is the gap we're talking about. Alex is as soft with others as he is harsh with himself. And this isn't just a small quirk. It's a deep psychological pattern that usually takes years to form. So the real question is, where does this pattern actually come from? Psychology points to a few key reasons. The first is childhood conditioning. Many people who grow up hating themselves received what's called conditional love as children, meaning love and approval only came when they behaved a certain way, when they made someone else happy, when they put their own needs aside to meet someone else's. Children who grow up this way learn early that their worth depends on how useful they are to others, and that belief tends to stick with them well into adulthood. The second reason is something called the fawn response. You've probably heard of fight, flight, and freeze, but there's a fourth trauma response called fawn. In the fawn response, a person avoids conflict or rejection by constantly pleasing others, suppressing their own feelings so that everyone else stays happy. This is actually a survival mechanism, often developed from a difficult or unstable childhood, where the person learned that keeping everyone else calm and satisfied was the safest way to avoid getting hurt. The third reason is perfectionism paired with a harsh inner critic. These individuals hold themselves to impossible standards. When someone else makes a mistake, they'll say, "It's fine. Everyone messes up." But when they make the exact same mistake, their inner critic switches on immediately. A harsh, judgmental voice that says you should have known better. This inner critic is often an echo of an old voice, maybe a parent, a teacher, or an experience where they were repeatedly criticized as a child. The fourth reason is that their self-worth depends entirely on external validation. Their sense of value doesn't come from within, it comes from outside. When people appreciate them, they feel good. But the moment that validation disappears, an old emptiness creeps back in. This is exactly why they keep helping others nonstop. Because somewhere deep down, their mind believes, if I am good enough, if I do enough for others, then I will finally be loved and accepted. Now here's the thing. On the surface, this pattern looks admirable after all. Kindness is a good trait, right? But the real problem starts when that kindness turns into violence against their own self. These people often experience burnout because they pour all their emotional energy into others and leave nothing for themselves. They feel resentment but can't express it because deep down they believe, if I say no, I'll be seen as a bad person. And most importantly, they experience chronic loneliness because when you're disconnected from your own self, it doesn't matter how many people are around you, there's still an emptiness inside. So now let's talk about the most important part. How do you actually break out of this cycle? First, practice self-compassion. The next time you're angry at yourself over a mistake, pause and ask yourself, if my best friend made this exact mistake, what would I say to them? Then say those same words to yourself. Second, validate your own feelings. You don't have to be strong or helpful all the time. Your feelings, whether it's sadness, anger, or exhaustion, are just as valid as anyone else's. Third, learn to say no. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. You don't owe every request a yes. Fourth, learn to recognize your inner critic. Whenever that harsh voice speaks up inside you, pause and ask, whose voice is this really? Is this actually true, or is this just an old pattern I picked up somewhere? And if this past pattern feels really deep, if you feel like this self-hatred has become heavy to carry, talking to a therapist or counselor is completely normal, just like seeing a doctor for a physical health issue. So to everyone watching who gives endless kindness to others but is harsh with themselves, please remember, you deserve exactly as much kindness as you give away. You spend more time with yourself than with anyone else in your entire life. So learn to become your own friend, not your own enemy. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. And if you want more deep psychology breakdowns like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself and start learning to love yourself the way you love others.